L'chov the Tana l'kay Reb Shimon bar Yachui. It's Erev Lag'BaOmer, to learn a little bit of the licht of Reb Shimon. The introduction really to Aleph B'Chut Maran is a little piece, a small little Torah about the Kedusha, about the essence of Shimon bar Yochai. So look what it says. L'chu chazu, come and see. By the way, in the Gemara it always says Tashma, right? Come and hear, come and listen. I'm bringing you a raya, come and hear it. But in Zohar it always says Tachazi, come and see. Come and see. Seeing is, listening is one thing, but when you see it, everything about the Zohar HaKadosh is about L'chu chazu. Come, let's go see it. Let's see it. Let's come and see me. Follow Yis Hashem. His galus nifla, the wondrous revelation, the Soid Gedula Satan Laki, Reb Shimon bar Yachui, the wondrous revelation of the Tana, of that great sage, Reb Shimon, who died and revealed all the secrets of Kabbalah and Lag'BaOmer. So Reb Shimon bar Yochai, Reb Shimon Hivtiach, made a promise. Shaloi tishtakach Torah mi Yisrael al Yodai. That the Jew and all of humanity will never forget the Torah. Ever. It will never be forgotten. Miftiach made a promise that it will never be forgotten through him, al Yodai. Kumuva b'divrei Rabbi Yiseinu zechroinim livrochem. Like it says in the Gemara in Shabbos, Kuf Lamed Chesam Beis. The Gemara there says, famous Maisa, that after the Churban, the rabbis had to retreat to Keren B'Yavne. Amru, they all said, Asida Torah shetistakach miYisrael. In the future, the Torah is going to be forgotten from Klal Yisrael. What that means exactly, maybe only certain people would have it. Maybe they would only know the external part of the Torah. They wouldn't know the Panimius Torah. They were worried that there was going to be a breakdown in the transmission. They were worried that Torah would be lost. Va'omer Reb Shimon ben Yochai. When Reb Shimon got up in this delegation, this meeting of all the great rabbis, and he said, Shaloi tishtakach. He said the Torah will never be forgotten. Shenema, and he brings the pasuk from the Torah. And you're going to think to yourself, oh, they didn't know the pasuk? Of course they knew the pasuk. It says in Devar, Ki lo yisishacham ipizara. The Torah will not be forgotten. What was the havamina of the other rabbis? So like we said, maybe they would only hold on to different parts of the Torah. They wouldn't have the entirety of the Torah. They wouldn't have the deeper side of the Torah. They wouldn't really see the light, the Torah speaking to them. They'd go through the motions of the Torah, but they wouldn't have it. But Reb Shimon said, it will never be forgotten from the children of Yisrael, ever. The Torah is eternal, it will never be forgotten. K'mevar b'Zohar, like it says in Zohar HaKadosh, B'hai chibura. And we mentioned this. It doesn't say this anywhere in Bavli. It doesn't say this anywhere in any other part of Torah, only in the Zohar. B'hai chibur. With this chibur means with this sefer. The Sefer HaZohar. That this book, which is called the Sefer HaZohar, Yifkun Bey min Galusa, different girses, Yifkun Bey Yisrael min Galusa Berachamai, that the Jewish people will be redeemed from their galus with compassion. Meaning, the way to ensure and the promise, the eternal promise that the galus will come to an end, that this long, long exile of more than 2,000 years will come to an end, the promise that that will happen is through Sefer HaZohar, that Jews will start learning the Zohar, Jews will start learning the Torah of Reb Shimon, and the Torah of Reb Shimon means the deepest connection to Torah. Doesn't mean that I just open up Stam Kabbalah. Shalom. Doesn't mean that it doesn't even mean that I just open up a Zohar. It means that I am learning the Torah of Rabbi Shimon, which is the Torah of the deepest part of this relationship with the Almighty, with Hashem. The deepest secret connection with the infinity. Not only the Torah of I'm going through the motions, but I'm keeping the Torah in the deepest, deepest way possible. That we say so many times, you have a husband and wife. How do you determine if the relationship is good? You can't quantify it. It's qualitative. Meaning, how deep is the relationship? What, like on a scale of 1 to 10? Is that what you mean? No, I mean, there's a qualitative feeling of depth, of communication, of that they're shining at each other, they care about each other. There's a relationship here. So we have that relationship with Hashem. And the deepest, deepest access of that relationship is called learning the Zohar. It's called learning the deepest secrets of Torah. And like I mentioned, it doesn't mean that you have to just pick up a Zohar and learn it. You probably won't understand anything. But it means that you start connecting to the Torah as something that is about a relationship that's deep. That's deep. That's profound. So Reb Shimon said, the Torah will never be forgotten. Why? Because there's such a thing called the Zohar. And the Zohar will keep a Jew connected in the deepest, deepest way possible, even if he's doing all sorts of crazy stuff on the outside. Even if he's being Mechal Shabbos and eating treifas and the veilus and Rahman al-Islam, eating a cheeseburger on Yom Kippur. That's all external. But that the inner point of the soul of the Yid is always connected to Hashem. Like there's a joke. Not every Jew is so holy. But every Jew is the holy of holies. It's not so Kaddish, sometimes not so Kaddish. But if you penetrate to the inner point of the neshama, it's so pure. What was it that caused them to do not so pure things? It's been a long exile, We've been influenced in a lot of ways by some really nasty stuff. We've been pulled away from our essence. We've been pulled away from our neshamas. We've been pulled so far away into the craziness of this world. But Reb Shimon says, we'll never get so far pulled away that we'll lose contact with that inner point. How does a Yid find that inner point? It's called Lag'BaOmer. It's called the Zohar. Yeah.
Now they're saying that you can't make fires on that well. Tziva Kavod says you can do the weather. So we gotta do it.
It's not the shit. Make a fire in your heart. Make a fire through learning the Torah of Reb Shimon. It'll be a much bigger fire. It's not the shit. Ve'ata borei v'haven. And now come and see and understand the flois nistar shel Torah Seina HaKadosh, the wondrous secrets of our Torah. Ki al kein samach Reb Shimon ben Yochai atzmai al zeh HaPosuk. Reb Shimon himself said, I find a hint to myself. There's an allusion to me in this very verse. Ki lois yishocha mipi zarai. Like the verse says, and it shall not be forgotten, the Torah will not be forgotten from your children. Ki be'emes v'zeh ha'posek be'atzmai. In this very verse, merumez, it's hinted of a nister soid hazeh, the secret that Reb Shimon was telling the other Chachamim, she'al yedei zarai shel Yochai, that through the child of Yochai, shu Reb Shimon bar Yochai, Reb Shimon is the son of Yochai, al yodai, through him, the son, the seed of Yochai, loy tishkochach ha-Torah mi-Yisrael. The Torah will not be forgotten from Yisrael. How do I see that? Hinted to in the last letters of the verse. Ki soifet tevis shel zeh ha-Posuk, because the last letters of this verse, ki, yud, loy, aleph, si shochach, ches, mi-pi, yud, zarai, vav, hem oisios Yochai. At the end of all the generations, that's what it means, Seifet Tevis. Whenever you see something in a Seifet Tevis, it means the end, right at the end, at the Seif Yomayim. It will not, through the seed of Yochai, i.e. me, Rebbe Shimon, and me, Rebbe Shimon means the deepest secrets of all Torah, the deepest secrets of that relationship, that a Yid's neshama is never cut away, ever. the Jew will come out of this long, bitter gullus, and we'll never forget that Torah, we'll never forget that relationship of the B'nai B'chai Yisrael, that we're the firstborn of Hashem, and Hashem loves us, and He's going to redeem the entire world from the forces of evil. And we're never going to be cast away, ever. Ever. And that's why people feel this nifladige connection to Reb Shimon. There's a feeling like, no matter how crazy or bad I am, I'm not pushed away. Lo yidach mimenu didach. There's no such thing as somebody pushed away, like you don't make it in. The deepest point, that point is called Lag'BaOmer. Lag is the letters Gal. Gal einai. Gal means to reveal. Gal einai ve'abitani flows mitoyra secha. Gal means when I get to Lag, when I get to that point, tomorrow night, I have the Gal, I have the Gilu, I have a revelation of the deepest point in my neshama that the Torah will never be forgotten. V'zeh shemarav's megala ha'posel ki lo yisishoch mipizara daika. Through the zera, through the seed of Yochai. Hainu mipizara shel zeh be'atzmai shumerumas minister b'zeh ha'posek shuatana Yochai. Ki alidei zara shel Yochai shumerumas b'zeh ha'posek b'seifet tevis kanir la'el. Through the zera, through the seed of Yochai, lo yisishachach Torah Yisrael, the Torah will never be forgotten. And that's Reb Shimon, Shu Rashbi. Shehu Rashbi. Al Yodai lo yisishachach HaTorah, the Torah will not be forgotten. Ki bezoyer, the Zoyer is the inner point. Da yifkun min galusa b'rachme, Klal Yisrael will be redeemed from this long and bitter galus. Galus just means that the inner part of my soul has been covered over. That's exile. Exile means my soul is in exile. When we talk about the Shekhinah, the divine presence is in exile. She's been captured. She's a princess in the palace of the no good one. Dragons are surrounding her, all that good stuff. That's right. Now you know where they got it from. They got it from the Zohar. Because what it means that the Shekhinah is in Gullus, what it means that Klal Yisrael is in Gullus, means that the inner light of our soul has been covered over and captured. But the princess is there. She never goes away. And Reb Shimon is the one that brings you back to the inner point of who you are. And that's what we call the Pintal Yid. The inner spark of the Yid, the inner point, the Kodesh HaKadosh. Yeah.
So say a Jew, like, that spark has been turned off.
It's never turned on.
No, obviously, but
it's covered.
It's
covered over.
Like, the spark is like,
Dim.
Yeah, it's very dim, and you have like, you feel as like an individual that you are, in exile. How does one like individually get to that point where he fights?
You learn Reb Shimon. You learn the Torah of Shimon. You learn the Torah of Chesed. You start to awaken that point. You start to wake it up. You go to the tzaddikim. They wake it up. The tzaddikim represent that point. They are that point in total plain view. You see it when you go to the big tzaddikim. They awaken it. You start stoking the fire. Start stoking the fire. To learn the inner dimension of Torah. Veda, Reb Nachman finishes. It's this amazing little Torah. All of the Qutmaran begins with this little Torah. Veda, and you should know, Shesoy Reb Shimon ba'atzmai, hu meramiz b'pasuk acher, that Reb Shimon himself is hinted to into another verse, a verse from the prophet Daniel, from Daniel. Kida, you have to know, Ki atana HaKadosh Reb Shimon, hu bechinas, represents that quality of Ir v'Kadish and Shema Yenoches. This is when the dream of Nebuchadnezzar, and the dream of that evil Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, coming to destroy the Jews. In his dream, there's a vision, Ir v'Kadish, which literally means an angel, a holy one, a holy awakened angel. An Ir means like air, uri. Air means something that's awake. V'Kadish, a holy one. And Ir is also an angel. Means Shema Yenoches is descending from heaven. Shemaim and Shemaim. You know that Sefer Daniel is mostly Aramaic. You know that, right? It's Aramaic. It's a very interesting Sefer. Aramaic. Ear, an awake one, the Kaddish, a holy one, and Shemai, Nochis means he's descending. Ear, Ayin, the Kaddish, Vav, Mem, Min, Mem, Shemai, Shin, Nun, Rosh Tevis, Shimon, Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon is this holy one who's awake, who's coming down from Shemayim to teach us about the deepest inner light inside of our neshamas. And this is what Lag'BaOmer is all about, is to remind us of something so profound in our relationship with Hashem. There's a medrash, a story, where there was a couple and they sadly could not have kids. And they were married for 10 years. It's unthinkable when a couple can't have kids, what that means, that long. But the silence of the home is deafening, it's so loud. And it's not going. And really, in halacha, after 10 years, a person would have a right to divorce his wife because he has a responsibility to have children. And Hashem, it's not able to work out in this way. It's very, very sad. And this couple that was married 10 years came to Reb Shimon. And they said that we're looking to get a divorce. Can you help us out, please? And they told the story that my wife has 10 years. So Reb Shimon said to them, when you got married, did you make a big party? Did you have a big chasana? You got married, right? And you had a band. You had some carving stations, some fleishiks. You had some carved out ice sculptures there, and you had nice fruit carving. Right? It was a beautiful event, right? With all your friends. He said, "Yeah, sure." He said, "I want you guys to make another party. Just like you got married, you made a big party. Make a divorce party. Bring a band and food and all your friends. Bring them all together in a big hall. Make a divorce party." I said, "Okay, this is a very strange thing. We thought he was just going to give us a divorce on the spot, but okay, I guess we'll make a party." And the husband was very wealthy. So they made a big party, invited everybody, all their friends, come to our divorce party. And everybody came. And there was music, and it was beautiful. And at the party, the husband, his chevra were there. And they had a couple bottles of some nice stuff. So they were giving him. And he got a little bit shikkered, you understand. So towards the end of the night at the party, he went to his wife, which was soon to not be his wife, and he said to her, it was very emotional. He said, my dear wife, we've had 10 beautiful years together. And we're about to end our marriage. But I want you to know I appreciate you so much, and I want you to know I have a very big wealth and inheritance. Anything you want, you can take. Anything you want, the most expensive thing, you can have it. Whatever the most precious thing for you, just take it. Because we've been through so much, and I just want you to know how much I do love you and care about you. And he sort of basically passed out at that point. And what happened? All of her attendees came, and she said, "Can you please take my husband and just take him back to my father's house?" And he woke up in the morning, and he didn't know where he was, and then he realized that he was in the father's house. And he saw his wife standing there, and he said, I can't be, what happened in the party, it was like still a daze. He said, I can't be here, we're getting divorced. And the wife said to him, I just want you to know that you told me last night that you said that I could take the most precious thing to me, of everything that you have, and I want to know that that's you. That you're my most precious thing. I want you. And they went back to Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon said, I give you a blessing for a child, and they had a boy 9 months later. Because what is it about Reb Shimon? Reb Shimon is that ability that when we feel that we're not producing fruits, you understand what I mean? Fruits spiritually. We feel we're in a dead-end job. We feel we're going through life without direction. That means that there's no fruits that we're bearing. Nothing's coming out of us. Nothing's moving in this world. And we feel like we need a divorce because nothing's going. Reb Shimon is that ability to remind us of the deepest love for the most inner secret point inside of us. And when we can touch that point, when we can touch that spot, all the fruits and all of the goodness will come forth. And that's why everybody knows on the day of Lag'BaOmer, you daven for people to have children. It's the time that you reattach yourselves to those fruits, like we spoke about in Shabbos, how Yochai's mother was davening and all the fruits burst forth in the dream. It's the time Pekidas HaKaras, the Gematria, Shimon, Bar Yochai, the time when we see fertility bursting forth. Which means fertility, that I'm starting to bear fruit, that my spiritual life is coming alive once again. Even though I might have been dead for the last 2,000 years, for the last 20 years, for the last 80 years. If Shimon wakes that up, and we see the fires of our inner soul, and we see the simcha of what that place means. Let's hold on to this place. Let's discover this place, because if we touch this place, we'll have all of the goodness, of all the blessings, of the deepest relationship to everything that we want that's good. We should be zoiche, to be connected to the Teirasai Magen Lanu, V'hi Me'iris Einenu, that gives light to our eyes, that gives light to our soul, that we touch into the Nasa Adam Nemar Bavurecha, the deepest point of who we are. And with that we're mashpia, that we give that light, and we wake the whole world up. We shake humanity out of their slumber, out of their schluffen. That humanity is they've fallen asleep. And we wake them back up to bear fruits of something so pure, called the connection to the spiritual world. And with that, the whole of humanity will know that the only thing left is for Mashiach to come and build the Beis HaMikdash, that the whole world will know God. De'as Hashem, Yemalei Ha'aretz, Kamayim Aliyam Nechasim. The knowledge of Hashem will fill the whole world, like water covers the sea. And all we will see is the light of God in a very real and tangible way. We should be saying to this right now. Amen. Have a wonderful, wonderful Lag'BaOmer.